One of the striking notes from the statement issued by Sandals today says the resort was particularly troubled to find itself being the subject of inaccurate and unsubstantiated information being disseminated in the very early days of the COVID-19 cluster debacle, which surfaced last weekend. Without going into details, Sandals says it categorically refutes much of what was stated. The open letter from the general manager at Sandals Grenada, Peter Fraser, took a jab at several health officials in the letter. It says in part, and I quote, "We were dismayed to see the Chief Medical Officer and the Minister of Health host a press briefing at a time of limited facts and information to insinuate any lapse in protocols on our part. Even though the investigations are still ongoing, all parties were fully aware that we proactively initiated this process and contact tracing had yet to be completed. These utterances from official sources have fueled inaccurate further reporting both locally and internationally." Unquote. Mr. Fraser insisted that Sandals takes the COVID-19 pandemic very seriously and implored that the dissemination of information to the public be rational and based on fact. He further stated that any other approach creates unnecessary complications not just for the destination but for the population. On Sunday, during a press briefing held by health officials, Sandals Resort was named as the origin of the new cluster of COVID-19 cases. The Sandals manager said reports identifying that the source of the positive cases is Sandals are completely unsubstantiated, and he added that the virus is particularly good at both spreading and doing so undetected. Insisting that the source is still unknown, the Sandals GM said the resort is fully supporting the contact tracing and fact-finding efforts, which are ongoing to identify a source. Fraser said information provided to the local media that the resort was evacuated due to the situation and instructed to close is also false. He said the resort has been in constant communication with the government, and although there has been verbal acknowledgement on a number of significant inaccuracies, Sandals is yet to see any official public declaration to correct any of those known discrepancies. The letter made mention of Sandals' platinum protocols of cleanliness, maintaining that the resort had the very best set of health and hygiene protocols available in the world before deciding to reopen. Mr. Fraser relayed that Sandals ensured all protocols were aligned with all the country guidelines, including the Pure Grenada protocols, which it claimed it exceeded. He further noted that the ministry's inspectors have always given the resort a clean bill of health. According to Fraser, the Grenada Tourism Authority is set to present Sandals Grenada this week with a Pure Safe Travel People's Tourism Choice Award in the category of training. The letter concluded that the small number of individuals who initially tested positive are asymptomatic and are receiving secondary testing, with some even having reportedly receiving a negative test result. Team members who received positive test results are currently under quarantine. Sandals claims that a number of people who were initially labeled as positive by the authorities were later told they were in fact negative. He told the story of an incident where in one particular case, a health official apologized to a team member after being isolated for days due to his test being inaccurately labeled. The hotel said there are only 2 guests under quarantine at the resort awaiting second test results, and both are asymptomatic. It is not clear whether the government of Grenada will respond to what has been viewed as a robust response to the statement from Sandals, which took direct aim at the government and its top health officials. Blossom Alexis Welsh, GBN News.